And first up for you at 4:30, your license plate and a lot more about your car may be in a private company's database right now. And tonight, 2 state senators are asking Connecticut towns to hit the pause button on flock cameras that make it possible.
Yeah, your chief investigative reporter Sam Smink is in live in our studio to explain. Been a lot of controversy over these flock cameras.
Oh, there's new meetings popping up in towns and cities every night. There are currently 50 cities and towns across Connecticut that are using some form of flock technology, whether it's license plate readers or cameras attached to police cars. That's according to the School of Public Policy at UConn. The new request from lawmakers won't affect them, but today Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff and Senator James Maroney are asking anyone who doesn't have them already to put a pause on any plans to install them until lawmakers can take a closer look. Flock cameras scan your license plate as you drive by, putting that information into a database. They also log identifying vehicle information like color, make, and bumper stickers. Police in Connecticut say they're necessary. They've credited the tech with tracking down stolen cars, missing people, or vehicles involved in crimes. Recently, the towns of Killingworth and Windsor got rid of their flock cameras, concerned about privacy issues. Ken Barone is the associate director at UConn's Institute for Municipal and Regional Policy. He found concerning language in Flock's user agreement that police departments accept. A user agreement, Flock says, can be updated at any time.
The terms, which are, again, they're publicly available right on Flock's website, say first, the data belongs to the customer. You read that, you go, okay, I feel good, right? The data belongs to the agency. Then you read the second sentence and it becomes far more concerning, which is that the customer, the community, the police agency, grants Flock a limited, non-exclusive, royalty-free, irrevocable, perpetual, worldwide license to use and disclose the customer's data. That's the department's data, the community's data, to provide the Flock services and to use the data to support and improve Flock's products and services.
Earlier this year, the state passed a law that says out-of-state agencies besides Rhode Island, New York, and Massachusetts cannot have access to license plate camera data used by Connecticut police departments unless they have a warrant, after concerns about national agencies searching databases for immigration purposes. Lawmakers also said data can only be stored within police departments for 21 days, but that Flock user agreement means Flock has it for as long as they want.
You have given this company Flock a perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide license to use your data for these very vague, like the language, services.
And in this case, the drivers aren't the ones saying yes to sharing. There are other towns and cities that have automated license plate readers not controlled by Flock. The press release from the senators does not mention them. Senators Duff and Maroney have also asked the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection to find the exact number and locations of all Flock cameras in the state. We did collect some of those location data. It's on an article on our website. Your chief investigative reporter Sam Smink, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.